A few weeks ago, I sat in this chair and I spoke to the Vice Chancellor of the University of Venda from across the Limpopo in South Africa. Now, he and his team were in Zimbabwe looking to lure students, to convince parents in Zimbabwe to send their children to the University of Venda in South Africa so that they can learn. Now, at the center and core of the University of Venda, which they call Univen, is that they've been investing passionately in research and also in ensuring that they capture the top lecturers across the world to come and teach at Univen. At the center of it is paying them well so that they're able to deliver learning to students. Now in Zimbabwe, we have had a challenge. Universities are underfunded, the lecturers poorly paid, and hardly do they deliver what is needed to produce a full and competent learner who will be able to gel into industry and provide the solutions. Now, this is one of the major problems that is now affecting one of the biggest universities in this country, University of Zimbabwe. Now, we talk in detail about the effects of not having the best top-tier teachers in universities. Join me after this break on This the Situation Right Now with me, your host as usual, Dara B. We discuss the problems, we discuss the solutions, and we discuss why it matters. Welcome back to This the Situation Right Now with me, your host as usual, Dara B. Now, at the center of solving national problems is an educated citizen, a citizen who has been trained to find solutions and deliver solutions that propel the country forward. And this is the key of why education is very, very important. Now, I'm joined by Sikhala Junior.
How are you, my brother?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Just fine.
Yeah, you join us today as a student at a local university who finds yourself in doldrums because you are not receiving what you bargained for. Now, talk to me about that.
Yeah, at the moment, I was part 2 law student at the University of Zimbabwe, where we never got proper education this year because of certain reasons. Sometimes it's sad, sometimes it's terrifying, but the major issue is have the actions that we have done this semester, either by proceeding writing examinations or by not proceeding writing examinations, or even being involved in such a setup, do we even meet the proper professional standards that stipulates the professional department in Zimbabwe? This is going to be one of the biggest questions after everything that has been done so far by the institution, who we will get from this world. You actually know that the academic world and the professional world are actually two different places where they work concurrently. But what is supposed to be there first for them to work concurrently is the bigger theoretical and precise foundation that you have been set. This is the works of the university. But our university at the moment, with the actions that they have conducted last semester and done, I think it's a little bit skeptical to come up with a proper decision or to come up with a proper idea that tomorrow when I will be in this professional world, what will this employer, what is the attitude of this employer towards my action of continuing examinations while continuing writing examinations while I have not learned anything.
But how do you feel personally? Do you feel like you are lacking because you were not taught?
Personally, I won't be lacking anything because in such situations here in Zimbabwe, I think it's been very long time where we've been adjusting to situations that are actually there. Whether they are normal or not normal, we actually adapt in Zimbabwe. But in this type of situation, if we adapt to this thing, what is the retrospective effect of the action that I have taken? As a student, tomorrow, I should be the one who will be, maybe it's me or another person who is my classmate or for anyone from another department who will be able to bring pragmatic solutions that will help us to deal with the problems that we are facing as a nation. That needs someone who is well academically equipped.
Mm-hmm. You feel you are not being equipped by the university at the moment?
At the moment, the actions they take, they took, they're a little bit, what can I say? It's too skeptical to come up with a proper decision. That which position are we standing right now? Because what we did as the students, we just delved into the unknown because the proper procedure that we are supposed to follow, which was supposed to constitute a proper semester for one learned individual to be well academically equipped. Those main principles and aspects that the institution should follow, I think they're a bit breached.
Which aspects? Let's be categorical. Which aspects were not delivered to you as a student who paid their money and enrolled at the University of Zimbabwe? What aspects were not delivered to you?
The important aspect is professional supervision, which is one of the binding aspect within the institution that properly brings up a graduate or a professional individual. Did we meet those standards?
Did you?
No, we didn't meet those standards because I can give you an example. There is this we have in the undergrad regulations act, the ones that regulates our day-to-day education. It actually gives us a bar whereby an individual, for him or her to be ready for an examination, they should have learned 150 notion hours. If it's a 15 credit modular degree, if it is a 15 credit module, if it is a 30 credit module, there should be 300 learning hours. As you know, we are now using the modular system whereby we can focus on one module for 4 weeks. Then in the final week, we write an examination. The moment the strike began, it was in the middle of the semester that we were having. So we have another 2 months or another 2 modules or more, depending on the type of degree that you are carrying. It depends the way they distribute their modules per semester. It depends on which program are you doing. So most of those, part of those, firstly we wrote the first examinations. That was normal and everything was good. But there came a time after Easter when the strike began. Lectures didn't resume. We were supposed to write an examination that week. We failed to write it because that is when the strike began. After the strike is began, what were we supposed to do as the student is to actually have an actual sit down. In fact, it was supposed to be the SRC that is supposed to be representing us with the institution to actually give us the position which it has on us in terms of continuing pursuing with our degrees. But the institution never gave us any reasonable note or any note. In fact, what they just did, they just militated that you are writing examinations beginning on the 26th of July, beginning on the 17th of July up to the 26th. Does that even make sense? To me, no. Does that even meet the standards that we are supposed to be meeting as the students for you to be properly well equipped? Because one of the binding factors that binds the professional world which we need to be in is a proper nurtured theoretical foundation, which is a degree. That also includes work-related learning, which the work-related learning we do during the attachment. Right now we do, I think I have a friend who called me, I think that was the day before yesterday, saying, I have an issue, my brother. Can you help me find an attachment somewhere? Because at the bank where I went, they prioritized the students from MSU and the Great Zimbabwe University. They said the students from UZ will interview you later. Is that not yet discrimination that is igniting before even a proper degree of someone who was a part final last year, who wrote their final examination? That is bringing this situation whereby if attachees are not getting an attachment just because the professional world actually knows that these guys, they are not properly equipped academically. What will this guy who wants to look for a job, who has done a degree right now, who is waiting for a transcript? Some of them are even right now preparing their own CVs. How is the professional world going to take on that? I think that is not.
Are you saying that the actions of the administration at the University of Zimbabwe is affecting the quality of the degree in the eyes of the professional world?
That's one of the main factors that illuminates always when a strike happens at an institution and no proper ways have been taken to consolidate or to...
Hasn't the university, I saw it flighted adverts, hasn't the university actually employed new lecturers and brought in people who it says are willing to work, as opposed to those who are demanding money?
For some other departments, I think that happened, but at my department, I never focused much on other departments because our own problems as law students is actually quite bigger than we might think. But in law, I think I heard the part 3s or the part 2s saying that they had a lecturer who came just for a week. They gave them an assignment and then they gave them notes on what he's going to set as an examination. Are we paying fees to write an examination to prepare an examination within a week? Or we are supposed to follow what the undergrad regulations stipulate? There comes a problem whereby the institution cannot follow its own principles and regulations that it has to function.
I've seen the university suspending people, suspending students, suspending lecturers. Is that not part of following its own regulations?
If one does not follow the regulations of the institution, I think that's the solution which they can do, because it's an institution which works on its own regulations and the rules. But it is a problem when it does not follow when it does not follow the principles that it sets for people. We were set to learn for about 150 notion hours, but none of the modules we carried out this semester we did 150 notion hours of learning. That becomes a big problem to us. Yes, I might read alone and I might be well equipped for an examination, but what is the take of the professional world? Because everybody knows that there is a disaster, and this one is it has been in the headlines for a very long period of time, and everybody is waiting for what has been the solution at the University of Zimbabwe.
You said there is the SRC at the University of Zimbabwe. Don't you think, haven't they sit down and be put in the confidence of the administration and given you feedback on these issues?
The SRC should be our first, but with this in this issue, it never acted. They never even cared about having any problem.
And the students?
They are students, yes, but the way they were supposed to be addressing this issue, it was supposed to be a way whereby everybody is going to be accounted for and recognized as we have made a decision as students, so that we know that what we are here for. We are at the University of Zimbabwe. We are there for degrees, so that we can market our, so that we can have what we can use in this competitive job market. So if that is not precise, how do you take? How do you think the professional world is going to take that one? But the SRC failed us at a point where they were supposed to bring up a decision with the institution before going further with anybody writing examination before anyone is well equipped. Because we had a 2-month backlog. What about that 2-month backlog? What were the students supposed to do? Were we supposed to pressurize ourselves and write examination in 2 weeks? Or were we supposed to follow the original criteria, whereby we are supposed to learn the given hours?
Are you saying that you'd have been happy to have delayed writing exams and prolonged your degree from if it's 4 years to at least 5 because of the strike?
The problem is when there is a situation whereby you don't have control of. I think it's a good idea for you to control what you can control, because this is the issue of lecturers going to strike is not an issue between students and lecturers or the institution and students. The trade between us is that we students will go to the institution to learn, and then the institution employs the lecturers for them to teach us. But now when this problem comes in, what we want is to learn, not to be paid. Well, the relationship between the institution and the lecturers is their own. I think it's their own issue. It's a situation where we cannot control it. So what we are supposed to do, I think we were supposed to be able to control what we are supposed to control. What were we supposed to control? Only making sure that what we are here for is legit. At the moment, the big question is everybody coming out of UZ a proper professional individual? Even basically, there is no institution out there or anywhere else where they would want to employ someone at a stage where they will be interns, maybe for a very long period of time, because they are supposed to teach them other things they properly missed to be shaped, so that they can fit the certain work that they do. Do you think that anyone would want to be his child or her child to be taught by someone with a degree which is not precise? That now becomes skeptical, because basically nobody wants anybody who is lacking something. Everything needs to be precise. I think you can understand this one from your own cell phone. You might have a 6-character password, but if you can get the 5 correct in the last one wrong, you'll never unlock anything. Here, there is where those guys in the part finals, they may think that they made a better idea, but I don't think their degrees will be precise as they are supposed to be. That will become a big question.
What is it that you'd want?
Are we not wasting our time? Did we not waste our time and money, or we just made a decision whereby we delved into the unknown, whereby we don't know what the tomorrow will picture?
What is it that you'd want done for you to feel that you are being put through the proper meal and you are well equipped to face the professional world?
I think professional supervision is one of the most binding things
It's not there. We have established it's not there. So what do you want done?
What should be done right now is to make sure that we have a conducive environment that is good for learning. That's the first thing. And the second thing, to also to have the institution address these issues properly, not in a way of militating to students that we are just writing examination. Because before I made the decision which I made, I think I was the only one in my class who made that decision. And everybody thought I was dubious, but I wasn't dubious. I was helping myself because I understand that the moment you are having something that is not actually proper, the first thing, it will sound fraudulent. Do you want to keep something fraudulent for your own self to be your picture for the rest of your life? You actually know that it.
What decision did you take?
Maybe I think I'm the only one who boycotted the examinations in my own class because what was done was not proper. The module that we actually learned properly, we didn't write it, but the module that we didn't properly learn, that is the one that we wrote. And I think we only did 6 or 8 lectures. Then we went to an examination. Is that what is precise for one to be well equipped at that certain module? I don't think so.
Which module is this that you didn't learn? And which one did you learn that you didn't write the exam?
The one we learned properly was civil procedure, and then the one which was not well polished is civil procedure.
You mentioned the same.
Yeah, and no, it's civil procedure and criminal procedure. Criminal procedure, we learned it well, but we didn't write the examination because the day we went to the examination, or they said there is no examination that has been set for you for that module, and then we didn't write. Up to now, we don't know what we're going to do. But we have a situation whereby we should be going for industrial attachment at the moment, whereby one should have all these procedural courses for you to go for an industrial attachment. Thereby comes the issue where I was saying we are just delving into the unknown. Where can we go for industrial attachment with just one procedural course?
Which you didn't write.
Which we didn't write. Which means that's a backlog again that we as students, we are supposed to cover. For what the institution has been failing to just properly do on its own. So sometimes people, I think students do not understand that when the professional department is at risk, even their future is at risk. Because I as an individual, I'm the one who holds every decision that was going to shape my future.
But it's going to appear on your transcript that you failed criminal procedure, civil procedure.
I think for me, it's not about graduating, but it's all about understanding what is going to shape the tomorrow. Am I proper right now to shape the tomorrow? Am I proud of what I have done? Or at least I know that I've done something that is not proper. As the law students, we are the ones who are supposed to be identifying where even human rights are being abused, or there is something shaky about any decision that has been made in terms of the rights of people. Who is going to employ someone who failed to represent himself to fight for his own rights to education? We are going into a world whereby we will be fighting for justice. How are you going to fight this for justice for who? How are you going to fight for justice for another person? Well, at least you never fight for your own self to get something that is proper. You can actually see that we are in a skeptical situation right now where everybody is turning a blind eye on. But us as the University of Zimbabwe students, we are at a very dangerous position we are standing, whereby what we are having, or what we have, I think is going to be something that the world is not going to actually accept as proper, because all these things will just lead to something that is not.
Are you saying that, if I'm getting you correctly, are you saying that you have no rights at the university that you actually pay fees to go and study. You've no right.
That is what, as law students, we should identify. Where our right has been infringed, that is where we come in.
Do you have those rights?
Yes, we actually have those rights because we pay for learning. So we have any kind of right that we have. But here comes an issue whereby you might even stand alone, but you might be standing for the whole of the class, whereby we have 400 students in one class. So as for me, at the moment, we have 4 law classes, which never saw any right being infringed for themselves not learning proper at a position whereby they paid fees fully, some partially.
Is it because they don't understand their rights, or because they're afraid? What is it? What is the problem? Do you locate the problem?
The biggest problem I have witnessed since I became a student at the University of Zimbabwe, I think it's ignorant to what is important to us as students. Some things we are there, some students think we are there just to grow, some they are just there to take degrees, some they are just there for different reasons. That is when decisions, even making decisions, will be skeptical for you, because...
Are you saying you have law students at the University of Zimbabwe who don't understand the law, yet they are studying the law?
Can I say it's not understanding? They understand the law, but one of the attributes of a lawyer is to identify when a right is being infringed, and then you intervene. Even the SRC failed us like it did. The law students were supposed to be the pillar of the injustice that has been happening at the institution, of just taking students to write examinations.
What were they supposed to do?
Learning. I think, as far as of what I've seen, I went through this other document that regulates our conduct at the University of Zimbabwe. I was with these other law students 3 days before the examinations were conducted. And then we identified it, and then we said, can you actually look at this? Whereby the institution itself dictate, whereby the section in that act, the undergrad regulations, says that when there is a crisis or inconsistency during any learning period, that does not that conflicts with the general undergrad regulations. Only the general undergrad regulations prevails. Where does the crisis arise? The crisis arises where we never learned the hours that we're supposed to learn. That is the crisis. And it's inconsistent on the basis that not only in the part 2s where I think we had few modules this semester. There are other parts. There are other parts of the department or of the law department, like the part 1s. They were having, I think, around 3 modules, and some of them, they just went for lectures for 2 weeks. Then they went to write an examination, where part 1 is the base of the law, and nobody is well prepared. There are still people who are being introduced to a certain profession. Is that proper? That doesn't sound proper to me. So us as the law students, that is what we are supposed to identify before proceeding with writing examinations. Because when you write an examination, it means that you individually agree with what is happening. Because the moment you have something that does not fit anyone, it means that the opportunities of you getting anyone are very slim. Yet, we are going to the university to attain a degree so that tomorrow may have a better living. And also to have this mind, whereby we will be able to bring change certain change in the society. There are certain problems that we face big time. And right now, unemployment is one of them. And yet we are those people who are going into the professional world with less precise degrees. That is going to be very, very, that is going to bring devastating consequences on other students who pursued or with writing examination, well, if they have not learned anything.
You talk of the problems and they appear to me deep rooted, but you don't talk much about the solution.
In terms of the solution, what the solution which was supposed to be there in the mistake that has been done was just the students to, I think, it was just the students to get this idea of knowing what are we doing, is it proper? And then it's either you proceed or not. When it is proper, you should proceed. But when it is not proper, it shows some inconsistencies.
Where do you then get the relief that you seek? Because if you don't proceed, the university can just look at it and say, you didn't proceed, you didn't write, you have failed.
On that one for me, I think...
are you looking at a class action? Are you looking at approaching the courts to exercise your rights? What is it that you're looking at?
What we are looking at is to first deal with the issue institutionally. So when it fails to deal with the issue institutionally, we can take the institution to the court. But then disaster struck, where some students decided to proceed, and some students did not choose to proceed because of certain reasons that they had. So this causes confusion between the learners themselves. Well, but they will never understand which decision should they take, because each and everybody have their own decisions that they would like to take. But what is the proper decision that one is to take? The proper decision that one is to take is that decision that will help you to have something that is precise. How do you have something that is precise? Is to wait for the institution to solve the professional problem that they have been facing, or us as the students to actually say, we are boycotting these examinations because they are not legit. They are going to cause devastating consequences on what we have, on our tomorrow. Whereas a degree is something that is going to be my face for the rest of my life. So if I have something that is not precise, that is where the problem comes, whereby I won't be fit for any type of job.
As we speak, the University of Zimbabwe is on a sin break, I understand.
Yes.
And very soon in August, there would be reopening. The lecturers insist that they're still on strike. So it probably means when you reopen, you still have the same problem.
I think I was going there, where I wanted to say, even right now, we still have that situation whereby the lecturers on strike. So even if we go back to school, are we not wasting our money and time? That we'll be facing the same situation that we've been facing before. Or there is another solution that this institution can bring. It's not. I think we are now 3 weeks away or 4 weeks away from opening again, or from opening another semester.
And what do you see? Do you see a solution coming? Have you had any sources inform you that there's a solution that's coming?
From my own point of view, I don't think the solution will come very soon. As I have realized something that many of us think that this is an institutional problem. But who employs the lecturer? The lecturers. Who employs the lecturers? That is the picture that we are supposed to see. Is someone who is employing the lecturers good with what should be done? That usually is a big institution whereby the kind of salaries that the lecturers want, they can actually pay them. But with this drag of 2, 3 months, 4 months in the way of this strike still going on, do you think we have solutions next semester, or we are just going to be facing the same situation again, whereby us as the students, we will just go back to the institution again as new students, but we will be writing examination in such devastating ways, whereby we can write examination without properly being taught.
So some have also raised the issue around the quality of those who are teaching. Have you had any issues around those?
In terms of teaching, I think everybody has got their own teaching styles. But their own teaching styles must be stipulated with what the institution provides.
What I meant is, some have argued that because they are poorly paid, experienced and highly qualified lecturers are leaving, and now you are being taught by greenhorns. Does that identify with the problem that you have?
At an institutional level, I think they will have their own solutions which they are bringing.
But they affect you, right? So I want to know if you feel that way as a student. Do you think that those who are coming even the fewer hours are competent enough to teach you?
As I have said, there are stipulated regulations that the institution follows when it is employing its own staff, and there is a certain way which there is a certain attitude which the professional world acts upon with what the institution provides. So if the institution is providing a lecturer whom they see fit to teach you, I think there is no problem about that. But the problem comes when that person does not meet what the stipulated institutional regulations that employs a professional. I think that is where that problem will come from. But as of us, I don't think that will affect us, because the professional, they have their own attitude with what the institution is provided to what is out there, because nobody can use it to employ this person and that person just because they have the best lawyers to teach us. They have their own stipulated regulations that they use and criteria to employ the lecturers.
Do you feel like you made the wrong choice to study at the UZ?
At first I thought it was a mistake, but later I realized that no, it's not a mistake. Every generation, they've got their own generational academic problems. I think you can actually, if you draw back to history, you can actually see that almost, I think, after every 3-4 years, there is always some mishaps and these things that happens in these institutions that everybody just has to fight for. It's our future. We are the ones who should fight for our future. How can I call my father to come and fight for what is for me tomorrow? My father is paying me fees to be someone tomorrow. So now my duty is to be the one who shapes my own future.
You're a family of lawyers, of people training to be. Your father, Job Sikhala, is a lawyer. You are studying law. Your young brother is getting into part 2 at the University of Zimbabwe.
Yeah. I think it is not a problem for anybody to be a lawyer, but to understand the regulations that conduct human conduct each and every day, that's crucial, because we have a lot of situations whereby we would see that there is injustice that is spreading like wildfire right now everywhere in the world or in this country. In fact, understanding human regulations will help you know the decision to make and not decision to make at certain positions whereby one will be cornered.
Tell me, is this a family thing, DNA, that you always want to fight for something, for some right? You at one point wanted to be a member of parliament, is it?
I was nominated by the process.
Yes, you're nominated, but you wanted, because if they nominated you and you didn't want, you would not participate.
There is the difference between wanting to participate and someone identifying you to be a right candidate for something. That is actually different.
So you were identified?
I was identified by some people who believed in me.
And you didn't want?
There is no way I can refuse a duty that you can assign to me, which I can see that maybe I can do that or not do that. But these people, they just came to me. They said, we are going to nominate you because we feel like you are the proper candidate that we can choose to represent us. Their own desire and what they saw in me. I don't know what they saw in me, but what I actually know is that there are people who believed that I could be in that position.
So is it a family thing? Is it DNA? What is it?
I don't think it's a family thing for you to fight for what's right. Because what we need is a proper way to live each and every day, whereby we won't have things that will be hitting people every day.
But there's some people who watch others being hurt and they sit and they ignore. Like, for instance, you just gave me an example. You are probably just the only one who decided you're not going to ride. You're probably the only one who decided to stand and fight, and everybody else decided to conform.
I think it's the duty for everyone to actually know what your future holds. Because I myself, I told myself that I cannot have a fraudulent degree being put in my office, operating every day, maybe as one of the best lawyers tomorrow in Zimbabwe, being like, yo, I'm the one who got that degree. I'm one of the classes that wrote jury with the strike in it and stuff. I think that doesn't give a proper picture, because even if this one might lead to also into academic progression consequences, whereby reputable institution, if they understand that what you are holding is not precise, they won't accept you to go for master's, PhD and stuff, because they actually know that you want to validate something that is fraudulent to us.
So do you think that the people understand that they have a responsibility to fight for something, to achieve or attain their dreams? They have to fight. It's not going to be delivered to them on a silver platter. Do you think that there's that realization?
I think that's a tricky question, because sometimes there are some people who do not know, who do not understand what is politics. They might think that politics is all about ruling someone, oppressing someone and stuff. But I think one should know what is wrong, what is right. And where a wrong has been done, one should know what to do and what not to do. That gives you a room whereby you make a proper decision for what your tomorrow holds. Because if we want to look at the world right now, I think politics controls our everyday conduct. So it's something that everybody should be aware of and should consciously fit in their mind that what regulates our everyday living should be proper, not wrong. Because if we have proper regulations and human conduct, I don't think there will be any problem that we will be facing. Even right now, we won't be here, because we are expecting an institution of professionals to act like old adults, not to act like kids.
Maybe we'd be here discussing something else.
Maybe someday.
Yeah. But, I mean, as we close, what is there something that I had not asked you that lies deeply in your heart that you need to talk about, that around the issues that we're discussing?
I think what I just want to say is to the upcoming youngsters and those who would like to pursue their degree further, their education further up to the top, you should actually not listen to those, to everybody, because you don't know, you actually don't understand their backgrounds. That's the first thing. The second thing is you do not actually understand the reason why they are doing it. Maybe you are following someone who has been said by their father just do this because I will give you only inheritance after you attain a degree. So when it comes to something that determines your future, never make a mistake on that one. Always make a better decision. Thank you.
Amazing. I want to thank you very much, Sikhala, for coming through and having a conversation with me around the education. I mean, educating our nation is very, very, very important. It's vital because this is where we find the solutions to the problems that bedeil our nation. We find engineers, we get doctors, we get lawyers, we even get entrepreneurs who create employment. The next big thing, you know, you go to the United States of America, they have Amazon, they have Elon Musk, providing solutions, practical solutions to the people or to their nations or to their people and to the world. We can't be a nation of vendors. We can't be a nation of beggars. We have to bring solutions. And while Sikhala and I were having a discussion around the tertiary institution, the universities, the degree, but for one to have a sound, solid degree, they must have had a sound and solid ECD to begin with. They must be able to have learned adequately and grounded at primary school, at secondary school, at high school, and when you get to university, you are refined and you're a person who is able to take those instructions with a critical mind and be able, like Sikhala was saying, to ask the questions that matter and to be able to practically use the education that you're learning. He says he was heartbroken that law students studying law so that they can defend constitutional rights, that they can interpret statutes and laws to effect a defense at law for an infringed right, are watching their own rights being infringed and doing absolutely nothing about it. Now, this is learning without acquiring knowledge. This is just going through the mill. If your rights can be broken and you have the tools and apparatus of understanding and you do absolutely nothing about it, so why are you studying law? I mean, that's his question. That is my question too. Now, this is and this will always be the situation right now with me, your host as usual, Dara Blessed Mhlanga, talking about education because it lies at the center of my being. It's a passion for me to fight for perfect education, better education for everyone at all levels so that we can change our dimensions and our views of life and eventually make an impact to the world. Thank you very much.
Thank you, my brother.
Sikhala, wish you the best.
Okay, thank you very much.